Welcome back. It's another Monday, which means another mentor text. For this week's book, I chose the book I'm From by Gary R. Gray Jr. And it's the last poetry book that we have in our series because Poetry Month comes to a close on Wednesday's the last day. I like this book to use during Poetry Month, but more importantly, I would use this book during the very beginning of these school years to get to know the kids. So I like that the front pages are different. They definitely look like kids, so the kids can immediately connect with this. And the whole story is giving a rich description of where this person is from, all the different things that are familiar to them. So you're going to see things like almost like a list poem, kind of. So I come from early morning wake-ups, handcrafted blankets knitted with memories. With my students, once we read through the story the first time, just to kind of get a gist of what the story is about, we would go back to it, start at the beginning, and then each of these, we see lots of rich phrases. We're going to see our commas in a series. I might take the time to not just bologna, but pan fried instead of just pancakes, like my own children would eat frozen pancakes, but this is homemade pancakes and strawberry jam, not grape. And so we would spend some time going through the different phrases and then going through the different adjectives that the author uses. We might want to spend some time too getting into precise versus vague language. A lot of times our kids will write quickly and they're just giving us the bare bones, but we want them to kind of stretch that out. And the best way to do that would be with giving good details and specific language. I like the little bits here with the dialogue, and we might want to point out that in this book they're not using dialogue tags the way we normally would, but it's the same concept. I like the opposites too, the high fades and low fades, tight ponytails, laid edges. So there's a lot of really rich language throughout this, lots of repetition. So I wonder if our students were to take this poem and sit down and really think through what's unique about them and the way they grew up, what type of phrases would they pull out? They're not giving us an explanation of anything. It's literally just a list of all of these details. Little details like too soon morning whistles, long school days, sky-high bookshelves, dusty classics, books that don't click with me, one or two that do. So kind of coming back and forth with the things that are common in your life may not be common in everyone else's life. Now, this book is based on a poem called Where I'm From by George Ella Lyon, and it's a really good one to do with the kids at the beginning of the year so you can kind of get to know each other. They're not going into any deep, dark secrets. They're not giving us any details that they don't want to, but instead of presenting a single story about what we know about that kid, we're getting more of a well-rounded view. Something you may want to do, I like that they've got the images here that go along with everything. You could have the kids bring in their own snapshots from their life to help them come up with those details, that specific language. Or you could just give them time to draw more like postcards about their life. So what's happening at these different stages? What's a favorite memory? What are some of the things that have been said to you, or the things you remember, the things that you look forward to? And those pictures kind of help your kids brainstorm ahead of time. So that's how I think I would be using this book as a mentor text. In fact, I'm going to probably do this with the kids today since we are state testing in the morning, and that's always a drag. But I want them to have some fun downtime, and this would be a great poem to use for that. And then we're going to transition to using this as part of their wax museum. Can they write a Where I'm From story or poem for their historical figure? What details do they know? What details do they not know? Are they able to do this? So that would be one of the options for our students. And I really love this closing line, I come from somewhere, which reminds me a lot of the important things the important thing about Margaret Weiss Brown. The whole thing is, at the end of this poem, is the important thing about her is that she lived. And so I like that it's just this, I come from somewhere. It doesn't matter where, but I'm important. Anyway, I hope you get a chance to pick up this book and enjoy it with your own students. Talk to you next week.